those are the objectives which has been mentioned, like what are the objectives we'll be covering in this session. What exactly is non-routable protocol is something which is not, which does not take part in routing, something which does not care about the network address. It just transfers the data from a device to device. This is something which is outdated technology. Um, for example, NetBIOS, enhanced user interface, or um, NetBEUI, BEUI. Those are the examples of the non-routed protocols. I don't think so they're going to ask you about the non-routable protocols as such. Routed protocols is something which will be transferring the data over the network layer. I mean, the networking is done. The routing protocol has been configured. The so-called enterprise has got the routing configuration done. On that layer, you've got the session layer and the transport layer. So all those layers gets under this category, routed protocols like TCP/IP, IPX, SPX. So routed protocol is something which works over the already implemented or is already uh, routing already established enterprise. I mean, when you got the infrastructure, when you got the organization and the routing is already been configured, this is something which works over the network layer. So routing protocol, we have already used the routing protocol. Now on that, we've got the transport and we've got the session layers. So the TCP/IP is considered under this category. Then we also consider IPX and SPX. So this is something like a common internet, like we've got the router, switches, and the computers. So this is the established enterprise already. Over this established enterprise, the so-called session layer and transport layer works. So TCP/IP protocol and or else IPX, SPX, those are considered under routed protocol. There might be the chances the people out there from the network team or in the interview or might be in the technical test, people might come up with a question like what exactly is routed. The routed is something which works over the established enterprise, over the network layer. For example, TCP/IP, IPX. It works on the network. Every device must be configured with unique IP, unique logical address. Now this is the very important part, routing protocol as far as CCNA, CCNP is considered. Routing protocol is something when you want to have the destination address, source address, when you want to transfer the data between the networks, you use routing protocols. What are the metrics? Like the routing protocols has been categorized in two major categories on the basis of hop count and metric. Hop count is something which is like from which router to which router, how many hops you have got to reach to your destination. If you've got 4 routers in between from source to destination, then that hop count is considered as the metric for that particular routing protocol. Apart from the hop count, we do also consider the other metrics like bandwidth, relay, or delay, bandwidth delay. All those parameters, all those features are also considered as a metric. So there are typically two types of protocols, interior gateway protocol and exterior gateway protocols. As far as the WAN technology is considered, we've got the autonomous system. Autonomous system is something which is used in case of EGPs or in OSPF as well, in BGP. So AS is something which is used to categorize the regions. Suppose if you have got a metropolitan city and you've got the company that the entire network will get covered in one under one AS. So AS is something which is the grouping of um, routers under the control of single administration. However, IGP is something, Interior Gateway Protocol, they are something which you can say you use it within the network, within the same company or within the same network. If you want to connect to different companies, you will be using EGP. However, you also can use IGP in that case, but for point-to-point link or for from place-to-place connectivity or different. Generally, EGPs are used to connect to different places or to different AS.
Okay.
And interior gateway protocol is something which is used within an AS, within the same single administration, under the single administration within the same company. Um, okay, so in this scenario, they have mentioned
Could you repeat that hop count and metric? I didn't get you properly.
hop count. Hang on a second, just give me a second. Hop count is something when you want to reach the destination. Suppose this is, you've got the three routers over here, right? And this is the destination router and this is the source router, and you've got one router in between to reach the destination, then that is considered as a one hop. It will be hopping across the network. The packet will be hopping across the network. So that will be considered as a metric for the routing protocol. As well as we do have delay, bandwidth, reliability, and other than uh, MTU, maximum transmission unit. So this is something which is related to this particular technology, wherein for network to path to reach router A, network to path is direct connected. So it is available, distance is directly connected, available via router B. So this is directly connected, which is available via router B. Then for network 3, which is over here, available via router A. That is this one hop. You will be considering one hop. And for network 4, like this, so it's going to be two hops. This one and this one and this one. Two hops. Then we've got this autonomous system, which is like in this particular area, in this particular region, we got the 4 routers configured within the under the single administration within the same company. So that particular AS autonomous system, it's only will be considered for that particular area, which will be connected to the service provider, which will be again the different AS. The edge routers are going to be different. So when you, as far as the IGPs and EGPs are considered, Interior Gateway Protocol, you will be using REAP and IGRP as the distance vector protocol, and EIGRP and OSPF will be the metric based. The other one, EIGRP and OSPF will be the link state protocols, and so-called RIP and IGRP will be hop base, I mean distance vector. Those two, the first two protocols will be considering hops as the metric, how many routers are connected in between source and destination. And link based protocols are something which will consider bandwidth and bandwidth, delay, reliability, MTU, all those metrics will be considered as a link state routing protocol. So like OSPF is a link state protocol. Then we've got EIGRP as a link state protocol. And EGP is something exterior gateway protocol, which will be used to connect to different companies. So we have got eBGP and IBGP under this category. So IBGP is something within the company. You can use IBGP. eBGP is something between two companies. This is distance vector protocol. So what it does is it broadcasts their entire routing table to each neighbor router at the predetermined intervals. Now that the so-called updates, the interval, it might depends on the distance vector routing protocol in use. It varies between 30 to 90 seconds, sometimes referred to as routing by rumor, suffer from slow time to convergence. So you know what, like those two protocols, those two types of protocols, the distance vector and metric, link state, we've got different categories underneath. But however, being said that, we need to get into details as far as the CCNA is considered. All right. So I have not covered those parts, detailed part about a link state or about distance vector. However, being said that, since Soumendra has mentioned only to cover the so-called routing stuff. Give me a second. So he has mentioned to cover only fundamentals on routers and routing and wide area network. So I didn't understand why he mentioned that. Actually, he must have mentioned the so-called IGP and EGP stuff. This is done, right? Yeah, so I've only covered the routing stuff, and the router you are already aware, and WAN. You want me to cover regarding cover those other topics like EGP and IGP, then I don't mind covering those though. But then Soumendra has mentioned to cover only those, because I don't think so we will be using BGP in OCI. Okay, as far as the so-called the other technology like WAN gateway, we will be using internet gateway, service gateway, and then NAT gateway. We'll be also using BGP while configuring fast connected. But we are not using those in-depth routing technology in this OCI thing. So I don't know what was in his mind. So I've covered only basic part.
Okay.
So that's all for today. But if you want, I don't mind. You have to just make sure you have to confirm it from Sominder whether you have to, or if you are interested, then ask for it. Then I don't mind, going through the stuff which I already explained.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarvati.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend to you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.